Voice Your Place, Slatina is an audio guide narrated by teenagers about the built heritage of their town. Thank you for visiting our city and listening to our audio guide.
Welcome to the Hanciu House. Although currently in an advanced state of decay, Hanciu House is one of the most impressive buildings in Slatina. It is located at the intersection of two important streets in the historical center: the current Mihai Eminescu Street, formerly known as Bucharest Street, where most restaurants and hotels used to be located, and Lipscan Street, the main commercial artery of the city. Such a positioning required an imposing building, with an architecture that would attract attention, all the more so as it was to be visible from the newly created administrative area, with the Administrative Palace, today's Old County Museum, the Slatina Bank, today's Slatina Court, Hanciu House, and Princess Maria Park, today's Eugen Ionescu Park.
The building was erected in 1883 by Petre Hanciu, originally from Mărginimea Sibiului. At that time, many Romanians were crossing the mountains from Transylvania, then under Austrian-Hungarian rule, seeking to make their fortune in the newly created Kingdom of Romania. Petre Hanciu opened one of the first breweries in Slatina at the ground floor of the building he owned. The beer, a quintessentially German drink, was initially viewed with distrust by Slatina's inhabitants, who were more accustomed to wine, but it was quickly accepted and appreciated. The brewery functioned as long as Petre Hanciu lived. In the 30s, the ground floor of the building housed the Merchants' Bank and a barber shop that opened onto Lipscan Street, which remained in operation until the 60s. During the same period, Petre Hanciu's daughter, married to the career officer Ion Filimonescu, lived in the room upstairs.
Both in terms of its image and its history, the Hanciu House is a typical example of the 19th century merchant's house, with rooms on the top floor and commercial spaces on the ground floor, which had several functions over the years. The building is designed in the eclectic style, fashionable at the end of the 19th century, both in Romania and in the rest of Europe, reflecting the aspiration of Slatina's inhabitants to move away from the Ottoman cultural space and into the European one. The elements used as ornamentation are those inherited from Greek and Roman antiquity, and used over the centuries according to varying rules during the Renaissance, the Baroque, and the Neoclassicism of the 18th century. Columns, pediments, balusters, garlands of vegetation, statues. The difference is that now, these elements were no longer made of stone, but, in the age of the Industrial Revolution, of plaster, cast in factories and chosen from catalogs. As a result, buildings were richly decorated at a relatively low cost, making these ornaments, once the distinguishing marks of kings, aristocrats, and the church, accessible to the middle class, craftsmen, merchants, and other professionals, doctors, teachers, lawyers, and officers.
In the landscape of Slatina's Old Town Center, Hanciu House stands out for the two bay windows on the corners, finished at roof level with two domes, and for the richness and elegance of its ornamentation. A particularly interesting detail is the presence of barley stalks on a decorative band under the cornice, recalling the original function of the house as a brewery.
This text was narrated by
Diaconu
and by
Sara Aflagea.
It's a rather tall building at the intersection of two major streets, covered in windswept tree branches. Two streets used by cars and a parking lot that, frankly, I don't know why is so close to the bar entrance.
Hanciu House seemed to breathe in a rhythm of its own. I looked for the balcony. I glimpsed it with the corner of my eye, trying to look indifferent. I thought maybe my plan would one day succeed.
You've been listening to short extracts from our stories written during the creative writing workshop. The buildings that you have visited have a special meaning for us. The stories speak about us and our connection to these places. If you're curious about them, we invite you to read them in full on our website. The audio guide was recorded by teenagers during the Voice Your Place Slatina 2025 workshops.